Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This reports for the 6th of December. Well, yesterday was fairly modest, poked up to a new high, and then there was some selling in the afternoon. I think a lot of this is related to just the malaise that currently exists right now because it was all this exuberant after the election, and now people are trying to figure out what the heck is going to go from here. And we're sort of in no man's land. You see it between the meetings that Trump is having versus what Biden's doing, the escalation in the Russia, conflict at the same time. World leaders are seeking Trump, and some are even in Georgia where they were having the protests. They're like, no, we'll just wait it out until Trump's in, and that's kind of the dynamic that's taking place. So there's quite a bit of confusion actually going on. But from a market standpoint, there really isn't any driver at this particular point forcing the players to do anything. So that's a natural upside bias simply because what else are you going to do with your money? You certainly aren't putting it in treasuries. So you've got a disaster. Here we still have cyan under red from the NASDAQ standpoint. It's always a buy. So there's nothing you do there. That doesn't mean you're not going to see some back and forth with it because obviously positive extreme right there still has to get filled back in. Better that happens sooner than later, but at this particular stage, there's not a whole lot of downside. Treasuries, yield still falling. So as far as that goes, the expectation is still that rates will be lower, but how much lower and really? Because again, that's going to be reflective of what happens here in energy prices. So as long as that remains an element, we have to wait and see where does energy finalize itself as far as the expectations with Trump and or economic growth, and we still haven't resolved some of those issues. The euro, we expected that there would get support from central governments just to keep it alive because it's in a world of hurt, particularly given what they're talking about sending additional aid to Ukraine and that. And if the U.S. stops with that, are they going to be able to bear the burden? Are they going to continue the burden? There are a lot of unknowns within that construct there because, and it has a great deal to do with whether the euro. I mean, you saw France, their government collapse the other day. You see a rising tide of disquiet because the EU has become quite authoritarian and people are starting to rebel against that. From a gold standpoint, still holding pretty base in between here. We get a nice little buy turnaround there and some rising short interest in it. So it should move back up to there, but it could take a little bit of time for it because again, it can be held back a bit. There was so much excitement with Bitcoin and that where it rose up, broke out to the new highs, well over the 100, and then of course faded right back into it because again, you got to have some kind of impetus, and that's a lot related to the pro crypto that they expect coming in from the Trump administration. But you're going to get into this whole, will they get confirmed? Are they going to be able to do anything? Will the bureaucracy stop it all from happening? And those are real questions and not small ones either. So there's still a lot of headroom to play with some of these things, but the reality is it's going to be more complicated, and I think that's going to make the trade seem more erratic than it is, but in general, it's still quite positive. When we look at it from an intraday standpoint, you can see we ended up early morning with a little bit of fade, killing a bunch of the call buyers. They jumped back into it, then they got beat again, and that just shows the disproportional call side to put, and then you have to move it the other direction to equalize it, particularly as we head towards the week. So pretty much trying to take care of that option play that's existing within there. And that's going to be the dynamic. And we've been talking about that for weeks now. And it's still a strong situation at this particular stage. Overall, though, I think that we're just going to be continuing to see the market kind of just push to the side up a little bit and go from there until we get some kind of significant news event or data that really suggests that something else is taking place. I think that we're in this little zone right now. So we just play it as it is. It's going to be a more intraday play, and we have to just take it for what it's worth. As always, anything relevant to open on the Skype chat. Have a good one. Trade well.